All right, welcome to American Hammers TV Week in Review, December 8th, 2019. What could have been a great week in review if we hadn't had a midweek match, but unfortunately we did. And then, of course, we have one tomorrow, so we'll be talking about that. Before we get started, let's introduce everybody who's Liam out in – which part of California are you in again, Liam?
Fresno. I'm from Fresno, Ace.
I always forget Fresno, but I really want to go see the group in Fresno, so I should remember that. Liam's in Fresno. Dave is in St. Louis. Charlie Boy hangs out in Cleveland, but he's all Brooklyn. And Chris, I know you're in Ohio now, but you're from Pittsburgh, right?
No, I'm from Ohio. I'm currently in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. But you're a Steelers fan. That's why I think of Pittsburgh.
Yes.
When I think of you. Okay, that's what it is.
Yes, big win today.
Yeah, and of course we're in still snowy Boston. Still about 2 feet of snow on the ground. And it's cold and nasty. Anyway, I'm sure West Ham will warm us all up tomorrow with a stunning victory over Arsenal with Mike Dean officiating. Everything's fine. Everything's set up to go just great. Before we get started, let's talk about scarves. Check out AmericanHammersTV.us. And take a look at the scarves. As I've mentioned before, they are proper claret and blue now. No more Houston Oilers colors, even though I didn't really mind that one. I kind of liked it. These are proper claret and blue. We got a new stock in that has the proper colors, so check out the scarves. Also, ahtv.threadless.com, threadless, in case I didn't say that clearly enough, .com. Great stuff. Any kind of gift you can possibly imagine is on there. All the supporters group logos. You can get them on, shower curtains. You can get them on pillowcases probably if you want to sleep with, your St. Louis Hammers badge under your head. You can get all that stuff all in one place just in time for the holidays. So anyway, that's enough of that. Please check that out. That's enough of that. So usually at this time, we are talking about the match we have just lost over the weekend. But last week, we were talking about a match we won over the weekend, and now I guess we're sort of stuck between what happened at Wolves and what we have coming up tomorrow, which is, of course, Arsenal at home. Naturally, they're coming in not having won in like 10 games, because that's the way it always is. They haven't won in like 10 games. They've got Freddie Ljungberg as a caretaker manager, our former, obviously, briefly a West Ham player. Much better known, obviously, as an Arsenal player, but he was with us for a short time. So it only stands to reason that they will absolutely crush us tomorrow because they're in terrible form and they have no manager and the club is in crisis. And if you're in a situation like that, you know what to do. Play West Ham. Play West Ham. That's right. We get you out of trouble every time. It's the service we provide. Let's start with let's go around the circle. Let's just start very simply. We haven't talked since last Sunday, so let's get some impressions from Wolves. Maybe give me your top 3 things you took away from Wolves, if you even saw the game, which I ended up watching later on. I didn't get to see it as it happened because I was at work like most people in the U.S. So, Liam, why don't you start? What did you take away from Wolves, and what do you think about going into Arsenal with what we saw at Wolves?
Okay, so I really only caught the second half because, like you, I had to work and I had to make up an excuse for why I needed to leave early. So main takeaways: Anderson, I thought, did much better in a central role than he has been trying to shuttle it up the wings, which is interesting because he's one of the only guys we have that have pace. So I would have assumed that he would have been more successful, as a overlapping winger. I thought that Fornals seems to be settling in. He seems to be getting better with the more minutes that he gets. So I expect him to show even better against Arsenal than he has in the last 2 games. And my impression on the substitutions were they were far less impactful than we had against Chelsea, which was interesting to me because I really thought that Pellegrini had started to notice what was going to be the necessary improvements for us to continue our, on what could have been an upturn in form. But I think that unfortunately with the substitutions this time, I think he got them wrong. And it definitely showed, especially with that second late goal that we gave up. So those would be my top 3.
All right. Good. It's good stuff to talk about. Dave, what do you have for us?
First and foremost, Haller was the invisible man. Just seems to be nowhere. Don't know why. We definitely missed Antonio. That's my other big thing. And I agree with Gabe. I don't know why he brought on the kids. That game was in hand. It was so frustrating that we were so close, yet like 2 steps off, and he starts bringing in the kids. And I'm thinking, what, is he giving up now? I didn't care for that at all.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And everybody always, we talk about this a lot on our various shows. Everybody always wants to see the kids until they come on, and they're not used to the pace of the Premier League. They need minutes, but it would be great for us to at some point get up in a match 2-0 or 3-0 so we could bring them on and get them a run out in a positive situation instead of in a situation where we're trying to catch up. But once again, Pellegrini substitutions, kind of head scratchers. Chris, what did you think?
So, yeah, just like everyone else, I really didn't get a chance to watch much of it. I actually came right at the end of my shift, so it was like, well, I'm just going on my way home, so didn't get to watch too much of it. The little bit that I did see, I do agree that Anderson looks much better in the middle. And I don't really remember the announcer even really ever saying Haller's name once. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I hope I'm wrong, but I think he's on the verge of becoming a flop.
Yeah, you know what? I think that should be our next topic. Charlie, let me get your thoughts on Wolves first.
My thoughts was the same as everybody else. Anderson is nice in that 10 role, and a lot of people were giving him crap. And they were saying, oh, he didn't make them passes. As you've seen, I don't know if y'all seen on the Twitter, I cut the clips. and like in the 4th minute, and he said they didn't mention Haller. Oh, they mentioned him because around the 4:48 mark, Felipe shot a 50-yard pass, a fucking laser, hit Snoddy in the head. Snoddy, boops it to him. All he had to do was one touch. He would have had a shot on goal, and he lost the ball. He fumbled it. So I don't want to hear no more service stuff, okay? But that was the one thing Snoddy did do good. All right. The corner kicks, he shot 4 of them too low. If anybody should have been subbed off early, it should have been Snoddy. He was terrible. Fornals shot him that beautiful ball. He had one touch, boom, messed it up. Should have been an easy duck shot. Should have been 1-1, easy. Another give and go. We had Fornals was actually in the box, right? And Felipe was in there. He gave it to him. Boop. Felipe gave a little back pass. And wham, he hits it. So nice. It should have been a goal, but Patricio, the goalie, he's a bastard, and he made a save. So you got to tip your cap to him. But Fornals and Anderson had some magic going on all game. I thought they looked a whole lot better. Anderson made a run. He was in the box. Balbuena overshot it to him like 5 yards. But that was the only guy getting Anderson a pass is Balbuena, our center half. I thought that was ridiculous. And then Pellegrini and his tie-stroking genius that he is, he subs off Noble, right? So this is what I say when he takes Anderson, he's got him playing 5 different positions in one game. And he didn't score a goal. He doesn't score. As soon as he takes Noble off, Felipe turns, and now he's in the second half of the damn field, right? Now he's a defensive mid because he has to cover ground for Rice because Rice can move, but it takes him like 10 steps to get going. So, and he brings out Yarmolenko. He don't belong on the wing. He lost the ball out there because when he has to go a long distance, he's not. He's slow. He's a turtle.
And, Charlie, I'm thinking that we had you on Wednesday night right after the match. You were on me. So I was thinking, I've heard all this before because I have heard all this before.
Right. And I was an asshole. Watched the game like 3 times to make them clips to make my points. I cut the little clips and put them.
Charlie came with receipts, man.
I came with the receipts. The guy said, "Oh, he never passed that ball to Fornals. That never happened. That never happened." So I'm like, bing, 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 bing. I'm hit, and then he don't want to argue no more. Because he's like, oh, Felipe gave it away 6 times. I'm like, you're a lying bastard. The stats say he gave it away once the whole game. He had two bad touches.
Charlie came in, caught his girl cheating. Oh, no, girl.
I ain't having it. Now, he didn't score a goal, but he was creating some beautiful chances, And so was Fornals. I thought, give him more time. Everybody's like, oh, now he's coming around. Now he's getting more time. That's all it is.
See, real quick. real quick, Charlie, I thought it was interesting what you say, though, that they pull off Noble and then all of a sudden Anderson's handcuffed, right? But then everybody gives Noble stick for being handcuffed in that role. And it's going to happen. Whoever's in that role is only going to have so much movement
Right.
because they're trying to do so many positions at once. If it's me, I'm going to let Noble be that, free roaming number 6 destroyer and let Anderson play up top. Like you're 100% right, dude. You pulled him back and you killed him. That's why we looked defeated in the second half.
And that's why when I said a couple weeks ago, that's what he was yelling at Pellegrini about, because he shot a pass and then Pellegrini was like, oh, he wanted him to go forward, but he's also telling him to stay back. And I think Felipe is just, he's had enough of it. He's like, what do you want me to do? You want me to score? You want me to create? Or, he had 7 good dribbles. He beat men off the dribble 7 times during the game. Like I always say, if he isn't going to create for us, who's going to do it?
Yeah, it's the best
He didn't help Holland. Listen, when he brought on Holland, okay, now you got the guy that was creating all in the first half, 3 chances that we didn't get him. But so now you have nobody up there with Holland. You bring in friggin' a Yeti. Then they're shooting. Now it's time where, it's the end of the game. So we're shooting crosses from everywhere and lobbing them in to the 5'6" guy. Come on. Come on. What are we doing?
Yeah, it was again, a series of bizarre substitutions. I agree. Let's talk about Haller for a little bit. I feel as though the excuses with him are wearing thin. I know he shouldn't play up front by himself. I get that. I think Pellegrini has made a bad decision. He's doing what he did to Chicharito to some extent. He's forcing him into a role he shouldn't play. But man, I mean, this guy just does not put out much effort. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I just am not seeing. I'm not seeing enough from him. Even if he's not, sort of properly being used, I'm still not seeing enough from him. I don't know. I'm curious to get you guys your impressions on Haller and what we do. He's really our only proper striker. What do we do? What do we do with him or without him? Why don't we go around the other way this time, Chris? What's your take on him? What do you have?
So I was kind of thinking about this. Haller and Fornals have been opposite stories so far in the Premier League. Fornals started real slow. He didn't come in very well. Now he's starting to adapt. Haller, right from the get-go. Now he's regressed so much. I think from the get-go he was just overconfident of his capabilities, and it's caught up to him. I think we definitely have to go for some striker in the January transfer window, because Ayeti hasn't gotten much time. He's another case where you don't know if he's up to Premier League standards because he's only getting the garbage time. He's not getting any time to adapt. And so, I mean, the only other option is putting Yarmolenko or Antonio, if he's healthy, up.
Yeah, I kind of feel. Well, I've been saying for a long time. I thought we should have Yarmolenko and Haller together, or maybe Antonio. I still think Antonio is more of a winger and more valuable on the wing.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see Yarmolenko up there with him. Again, though, I don't know. You look at the guy's body language. I mean, I know he's not happy. These strikers, man, they're prima donnas. They're like wide receivers in the NFL. They're just constant, like, emotional basket cases, and you have to take care of them and stroke their ego at all times.
You can tell that he's upset that he's not doing well, that he's not doing anything to help himself.
Yeah. No, it's not. He's not. That's exactly right. And yeah, I know he's being misused. We all know that. But I mean, when you watch Chicha, I felt as though he was in a very similar situation, and yet, one, he did score goals, and two, I don't know, I felt as though he put out more of an honest effort. Maybe he was a little bit more of a professional, more experienced. I don't know. Let's go up to Liam. What are you thinking about Seb?
No, I'm out of excuses for him. You know what I mean? It's we pulled out Cheech, we pulled out Perez, we pulled out Arnautovic. Any times that they made a mistake, but you go back and you look at last season, and we were applauding Arnautovic in the first half of the season when he's 40 yards, 50 yards back to make a tackle to take the ball and lead the counterattack. And you just don't see Haller doing anything like that. He'll drop back. The Wolves game really showed it. He's dropping back not putting himself in any position, one, to receive the ball to try to alleviate any pressure on the wings or on the fullbacks, and then two, when he is getting the ball up near between the center backs, his first touch lets him down. Yeah. So it's not a he's not getting the service anymore. It very much is he feels out of place. The system is not built to suit him, which obviously you have to put some of that on Pellegrini and Husilios to some degree as well, because they knew what kind of striker they were paying 40 million pounds for and what sort of style was going to work for him, and trying to insert him into a style that's not going to work. And we saw that with Hernandez. He doesn't work as your hold-up play number 9 striker. He's a fox in the box. With Perez, we almost never played him as a striker. He was stuck on the wing. And then we sat there saying like, oh, he's not scoring any goals. Well, no shit, Sherlock. He's not playing his preferred position. What do you want from him?
And neither is Yarmolenko, by the way.
No, not a. Who was it? Maybe it was Charlie Boy. This posting Yarmolenko's got X amount of goals for his national team, and we're sitting playing him on a wing where he's got no pace, and he's the goals that he does score is when he's cutting into the box. Like, why is he not playing as a paired striker? So we say this week over week that it's obvious to us. Why is it not obvious to the coaching staff?
Every week the same thing. Dave, you're nodding your head. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm so confused as to why they're not pairing him up with somebody. I hadn't thought of Yarmolenko, but it makes sense. And then having Antonio on the wing, it's just he's. If you want to play devil's advocate, you could say last year Anderson was a little slow because he was just getting used to the Premier League. Is this the same case? I'm not 100% sure. I just think that he feels he's in the wrong spot. He gets it and he holds it up when we need him to shoot because he's our only guy up there. So, he's not being played right again, which goes back to the manager. So what's he doing?
Yeah, it's it's true. Haller reminds me of a faster, sort of more skilled version of Carlton Cole, right? I mean, kind of a hold-up guy, but you don't want him up there. You don't want him up there by himself. Can you imagine if we still had Chicharito? I mean, that'd be a great pair to me. If we had Haller,
very much so.
Yes.
Pellegrini would have him on the wing again. They used to stick him on the wing. What's the deal with this bullshit? I can't get no quick wings. Can I get a wing? I don't understand what's the problem.
Well, tell us, Charlie. Now you're up for Sebastian for Haller. What's your take on him? And when do you consider him a flop? It seems to be way too early, and maybe we need another manager before we talk about that. But what do you think, Charlie?
I wouldn't call him a flop, but he's playing a finesse game. He's not fighting in the box. You got to get your position in the Premier League. You got to get your position, okay, before the balls cross, before everything. So then when it's in the air, you can have your shoulder and get where you got to be to the near post and get. We haven't had a fucking header all year. The guy's 6 foot something tall, 200 something pounds, and we ain't got a header. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. And Snoddy put the ball. He would have had a one-on-one. He could have took one dribble, bing, and had a shot on goal. And he fumbled it. Whose fault's that? That's not Pellegrini's fault. That's nobody's fault. I don't know if he's nervous. Now I'd put I was talking. Me and Liam was talking. Yarmolenko for Ukraine is a striker.
Yes.
But we're sticking him on the wing like some kind of schmucks. He's got 37 goals as striker, and even more. I don't know how many with the U23, whatever, the younger Ukraine. He had goals there as striker as well. And he's a left foot. He wants it on his left foot, right? Haller, what was he doing in the Bundesliga? Back heel passes, bing, bing. He has no one to pass it to in there. So Haller could play on the left side, Yarmo on the right. So he's coming right in the box. It would be on his left foot. And Yarmo could hold up the ball and give it to Haller, and it would be on his right foot. But no, we're not going to do that. We're going to stick him way over there on the side of the pitch to where he's got to make a long-ass run, and he ain't getting nowhere quick. I'm losing my nut over this, guys, that this guy is at the wing. Yarmo, I love him. He needs to be in the box with Haller. Or sub him as a striker. He has no business on the wing. Did you see him that's how they got the second goal. They mugged him. They took the ball from him because he couldn't make no run. What was he going to do with it? I'm going to have a stroke. I'm telling you.
You're getting love from the chat room, Charlie. I tell you, it's like banging your head against a brick wall. Every week we come on and we talk about the same stuff because every week we see the same problems, right? I mean, nothing ever changes except we had the one match against Chelsea where I think, as we talked about last week, I think Chelsea frankly put out not the strongest 11 available. We got maybe a little bit lucky on a lot of levels there. Other than that, it's the same thing over and over with Pellegrini. So I want to turn. I want to turn to Arsenal. Hey, let's go ahead and do that because I want to get to our keeper situation here in a minute too. Because there's some rumors about that, but let's talk about Arsenal quickly. Hammers polls. I'll never find it if I look for it, so I'm not going to look for it. Hammers polls put up a poll this week asking whether fans wanted us to beat Arsenal or lose to Arsenal so we get sacked. I don't know if you guys saw this. I'll try.
That was off of West Ham's Why We Drink podcast, I think, actually.
Oh, was that who did it? Was it Wayne? Well, it might have been Wayne.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. Anyway, somebody put up a poll asking, what would you want to do? He wants to beat Arsenal, and the buys Pellegrini more time. He wants to lose to Arsenal so that he hopefully gets sacked on a faster track. I think 58% said they wanted us to lose, and I have a really hard time with that. I am very solidly Pellegrini out. I was Pellegrini out right after we beat Chelsea. I tweeted it 2 minutes after we beat Chelsea. I said I'm still Pellegrini out because I still think the problems are there, and they're going to continue to be there. But I never, ever, ever want us to lose. I especially when we need 3 points desperately. We're hanging around near the relegation zone again. What do you guys think? Should we, what's the better outcome here? Win 1-0 or lose 3 or 4-0 and get tonked and maybe he gets sacked. I don't know, Dave. Let's start with you. What do you think? What do you want to see?
No, I'm sorry. You can't. You've got to win games. That's the name of the game. The name of the business. He's probably. I don't know. Is he gone? I am still on the fence with Pellegrini, but I'm getting more and more to getting rid of him. The problem is, who do you bring in?
Yeah, because the shine is off of Eddie Howe a little bit. I mean, I've been very strongly pro Eddie Howe, but their form is not great either right now. You guys jump in when you want. They've looked not great the last few weeks. Somebody on Twitter said, these managers will do anything they can not to manage West Ham because Dyche has got on a big losing streak. Eddie Howe's got on a big losing streak.
Oh man!
They start getting rumors. They start hearing rumors they're going to be the next West Ham manager. And immediately they tank. But I don't know, Liam. What's your thought? I mean, do you want to see us lose to get the Pellegrini train going faster, the exit train, or what do you want to see?
Nah, fuck that shit. I'm gonna win every time.
You're still a Pellegrini guy, right? Are you still Pellegrini in?
I am, man. I mean, he still has us over for Christmas dinners, so I'm not trying to get uninvited from that shit.
That's what it is. I know.
No, I'm probably this close to getting accused of having some sort of familiar ties, So it's tough, right? Because I get where people are coming from. I understand the frustrations, but at the end of the day, man, we all back the badge, and whoever is. But whoever's on the bench, whoever's selecting that starting 11, we got to back them, whether we agree with them or not. We got to back the badge. It's one of those, it's one of those thought processes that you have to hope that he understands the game better than we do. And even though we could sit here and analyze week over week, but you got to believe that his people are doing the same thing and they're seeing where the errors are. I fully expect us to go in and completely dunk on Arsenal. And everyone's going to be back on that high that we were against Chelsea, and then we'll play Southampton and we'll lose fucking 1-0. So it's going to be this back and forth. I do think you need to give him the January transfer window. We've already heard the news that Hasilios is reconsidering whether or not he wants to continue on in his position, and they've got other people lined up. God forbid that we let Sullivan get back in charge of making the changes because we're going to go back to a bunch of
worse. Yeah, it'll give it worse. Yeah, it'll be a bunch of guys on loan.
A bunch of mercenaries.
Well, I think actually with that, I think they're wanting to bring in the Bordeaux. I think he's Bordeaux for now, but he was the guy who brought in all the players who helped Leicester win their champion or their title.
Which I'm game for, right? We that's what I think every game or every team that's been mid-table is all looking at Leicester going, why can't we replicate? And I think us as West Ham fans, we all thought that was the start, right? Pellegrini in, we're starting to spend money, 100 million. Not, the first summer in, like we were looking good. We were sitting pretty. And now we're just not seeing the return on investment. As John and I were talking in the chat room about Allaire, we're just not seeing that. I'm never going to root for us to win. I could hate we could bring back Allardyce and I'm still going to want him to win, because at the end of the day, I'm rooting for the club. I'm not rooting for the manager. So, I'm hoping we take Arsenal. I'm hoping that Pellegrini, gets us back on the right foot. And I'll be honest, I think if Antonio had been fit for Wolves, it was our game for the taking. I think we would have beat Wolves.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point. And his fitness is a question for Arsenal, which he seems to be our talisman right now. Chris, what do you think about tomorrow's game? Pellegrini, you want to see him win 2 out of 3 and keep his job for a while, or you think it's better if he gets tonked?
Well, really quickly too, I found actually the tweet on the Hammers polls when they were talking about 127 people voted. 58% said that they would rather lose and Pellegrini gets sacked. 42% obviously saying wins, Pellegrini stays.
Right. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. I'm sorry.
I can never root for a team or my team to lose. I still want Pellegrini out. I don't think he's the man for the job anymore, but I can never root for West Ham to lose. But I did see some tweets though that obviously the chairmans are they've wanted Rafa Benitez for quite a few years, and he's actually going to be in Sky Sports studios,
right,
watching over the game. So that could be something there.
I don't want him, but yes, you're right. They've wanted it for a long time. I think we should be done with these guys who are treading water in China at the end of their careers. But let's get from Charlie. What's your take on tomorrow? You say Pellegrini did it in the season, right? Is that still where you are?
Unless, but I said on Wednesday, if we had a caretaker, which I don't think we have on the team at the moment.
That's what I would like to see. Yeah,
you know what I mean. We just don't got it right now. And here's the slice of reality pie, right? They're not going to sack him. They're not going to pay that bag to sack him. And listen, Rafa is not coming to the game for no fucking West Ham. All right, Arsenal needs a skipper too. Arsenal will pay the money.
That is true.
Arsenal has the bag. You got to realize this. I've been saying this. People with this Rafa. Listen, we're gonna have to pay what Pellegrini. Who knows? 10. I don't know what it is. 10 million, 12,
I think. Yeah.
And then you're gonna have to pay the China guys 15 million to get Rafa over here. Now we're talking. We're getting close to 30 million. You kidding me? You think our owners are gonna do that? Just pump the brakes. He's gonna be here to the end of the year. Yeah. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna pay the man his contract. They ain't gonna do it. I don't want. Listen, I don't never cheer for us to lose. You know me. When I think we're gonna lose, I'll say off air, but on here I'll be like, nah, we're gonna be a draw, because I can't say it, right? It's like Jim Carrey in the movie when he's trying to write a lie, but he can't do it. That's me. I'm like, we're gonna draw, And but listen, if we beat Arsenal, listen, they're shit right now. So what does that say if we beat Arsenal? Just like I told these mooks that, okay, we beat Chelsea. They didn't even run out their 3 good guys, and they've been shit all year. Halfway. Okay, they just got bagged by Everton. So, okay, now Everton, what? Everton's it's because they fired the skipper. No, it's because Chelsea's not that good. No. Just because their name is Chelsea doesn't mean they're like Chelsea from years ago.
And they lost again. Didn't they lose this weekend? I think they did.
Yeah, Everton 3-1.
They lost.
Yeah, and then they started whining about the song again.
It would have helped us to have them beat Everton, right?
Calling the police. Oh, they're singing Red Boys. So we're going to start calling them Grass Boys.
It honestly makes me want to sing the chant more because they're so pissed about it.
I never seen so much snitching. I don't even understand what happened.
we were watching the game. Like I didn't sing the chant because it didn't even like click. And we were chilling in a Chelsea bar when we watched that one. And now it's like I just want to sing it as I'm walking down the street, walking my dog. Like, man. Just because it gets under their skin.
I don't think there's anything homophobic about it. I think they don't like it, and they're trying to make it something that's
They don't like that they lost.
They lost.
Honestly, they've been. I think X posted singing that chant for years. Yes, they're trying to spin a narrative because it's easier to say, "Oh, you're all a bunch of homophobes," and say, "Shit, we lost for the first time in 17 years at home at Stamford to West Ham."
Right.
Come on.
As soon as they lost to Everton, they was on the phone calling out, "Excuse me, oh Bill, can you come down here? There's
Yeah.
people singing. Get out of here. We trying to fight terrorism and drug dealers and killers and rapists. Ain't nobody got no damn time for to come down here to the pitch to listen to you assholes cry about a fucking a song about
They're
some
gonna start-
footy."
They're gonna
What,
start
are you
bringing in
kidding
fire
me?
extinguishers. Just start putting them out.
Well, they also they don't like the truth because the whole song is about how they're a bunch of whores, right? That's the
Yeah.
point. Is that they're doing anything for money, and their players are doing anything for money. That's why they're all there. They're not there because they love Chelsea. They're doing anything for money, and they don't like the truth because it's true. Now it's probably true in a lot of other clubs too. But, Chelsea were just like us until they got the money in 2003. They were just like West Ham. They hadn't won anything in years and years. They bounced up and down. They were a mediocre club. They had trouble drawing fans. I mean, West Ham always had bigger crowds. I think more fans. Chelsea were just like us. And I remember that I was living in Europe when all this happened. I mean, I remember how it was. They were just like us. And then they got the money, and all of a sudden, they've gone on to be one of the biggest clubs in Europe, the biggest clubs in England. And it's all about the money, 100%. And they can't stand the fact that it's not the glory of Chelsea Football Club that's brought them success. It's just the money. But anyway, it's probably enough about them. About the Red Points thing. But so we have to turn our attention again to what I think is the worst set of American Premier League fans, which is Arsenal, even worse than Tottenham, because they all think they play beautiful football. They all think they're Arsenal from like 2002, when they really did play beautiful football.
What was it, 6? Was it 06 was the Invincible season?
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Mid-2000, early to mid-2000s, whenever it was. And they did have great players, and they did play. I mean, to be fair, that was a great team. I'll give them that. But it's not anymore. It had been for a long time.
They can't handle it.
And they ran off their manager, who was the best manager in their history, because he had the gall to finish in the Europa League places instead of the Champions League places. And now, there's this guy I work with who's a big Arsenal guy. He's like, "Oh, we're having the worst season. We're 10th." And I'm like, "Dude, I would give anything for us to be 10th right now."
Yeah.
Come on, man. 10th? What? 10th is so good for West Ham. Like, I would love to be 10th. But anyway, so I'll tell you what. Let's bring up a Hammers poll if I can remember how to do it. I haven't done this in a little while, so hang with me for a second here. My StreamYard skills.
While you're bringing that up, did you see where their new skipper, that's just a quick replacement, said they were scared on the pitch? Arsenal? He said they were scared. Yeah, he said they were all scared on the pitch.
Ljungberg said that?
Yeah, he said Freddie said they were scared and they were like little sissy boys. Yeah, bro.
Pulling no punches.
I never thought of him as the toughest player, though. You know what I mean? He was a little bit of a twinkle toes himself. All right, so this Kovac Benitez thing, I'm not even asking this question because I don't think either one of them is coming to us. I mean, they're looking at Arsenal if they're looking at anybody.
Yeah.
But this one, should Haaland start against Arsenal? I think this is a valid question. I'll just go ahead and start. I don't think he should start. I think it's a no for me. I don't think we're ready to throw him into the fire at this point and get, what would have to be like 75 minutes out of him probably against a desperate opponent at a time when, it's going to be a very contentious match for both teams. But I'll tell you, let's just go right down the side of the screen here. Liam, what do you think?
No, I mean, I'll be honest. I get it. He didn't really get a fair run out on Wolves, and I think to expect him to be able to come on and make that kind of impact, especially when we're already playing, one down. I just, I get it. But you looked at him; he gets completely stiff-armed off the ball. He tried to do the same thing Anderson did, where he was cutting into the top of the 18-yard box, trying to dribble through 3 defenders, and he gets completely closed down. So you could tell that Wolves had us pegged. They knew we were going to be trying to, play the overlap. We were going to try to bring it into the 18-yard box and, and try to cut across, just like how Cressy scored the goal against Chelsea. But it's, when you look at that tactic, we had no backup plan, and Nathan definitely had no plan B. I mean, I'm not saying that he can't be good with more minutes, similar to what we've seen with Fornals. I just think right now, when it's a do or die, you've got to go with proven talent. I don't think right now, while we're sitting in 16th, 17th place, I don't think it's time to blood young kids. I think as we're going into a very heavy fixture, set over the next several weeks, I think that's when you can start playing some of the kids to alleviate the pressure on your first team. But I think right now, especially going into Arsenal, no, I don't play Nathan.
And where is Masuaku, by the way? Did we ever resolve that mystery? What's going on there?
Very, very good question.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave. Let's move down to you. What's your take? Anything you want to talk about? What's your take on starting Holland and where?
Well, yeah, number one, you can't start Holland in this game. We need to win this game. And unfortunately, as I saw him running around out there, he was getting pushed around. He's not quite big enough yet, I don't think.
Yeah, he needs some bulk.
He needs to bulk up, he's just not ready yet. All right, I agree. Maybe when we have all these fixtures coming up around through the Christmas holiday, but right now we need a win. We need something positive to turn back around, and I wouldn't start him.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. Now, Charlie, you've been talking about starting him for a while, or at least playing him for a while. Would you start him on Monday, tomorrow?
Listen, I start him. Our wingers are slow as turtles. And listen, he's young. He's older than Rice. And I'm going to go back to this a million times. Tony Cotty was 17 years old. And I guarantee you there was a drunk guy in the stands saying, oh, he's a kid. Listen, it's a young man's game. He played 15 minutes. No one could give him a judge on 10, 15 minutes of ball. Secondly, they brought him on for Noble. When they brought him on, Felipe went out of that 10 hole and he went back to playing a defensive mid. So he had no one up there to help him. And he was out there with a Yeti, and he was out there with Yarmolenko on the other side, which is another slow turtle. Okay. Snotty, we haven't got no headers all year. I love Snotty. He's got the passion. Listen, he's not, I'm sorry. He's not, he should not be a friggin' wing right now. We are slow. The kid is what, 20, 21, he might be 22. How old does he got to be? If Tony Cotty comes out 17 and gets man of the match and busts Spurs in their ass, we got to give this kid a try, not because, he may be ready, he may not be ready. The guys we have playing wing right now ain't doing it. They're not doing it.
I mean, listen, it is. Listen,
Snotty's corner kicks, he kicked 4 of them into the friggin' dirt.
And you make a good point. It's Snotty was, I thought, last season one of the best corner takers in the Premier League. I don't know if he's forgotten how to do it or what, but he was very good on set pieces. But now he seems to have lost whatever touch he had.
At least last game, definitely versus Wolves.
Well, and there's no targets in the box. Like he can cross it till he's blue in the damn face. That there's nobody there. There's literally nobody there. And the times that there was,
he didn't get it in the air. Agbana's in there. Oh, you know what I mean? You got to at least get it in the air. If you don't get it in the air, that's zero chance.
Right, but look at what he did in Chelsea, right? Didn't he put the ball on Antonio's head? I mean, like we've got options when they're in the box, but right now we're just almost like you said before, Charlie, because we have no pace. There's no heads up there. So even for Holland, if Holland's digging it out over on that left-hand side, and like you said, if there's nobody there in the middle for him to cross to, the fuck's the point?
That's true too.
Best he could do at that point is needle around in the corner and hope for a corner kick.
Yeah.
Oh man,
what do you got, Chris? What do you got on Holland?
So for me, I kind of think I go both ways on it. For me, I agree that he definitely needs more time. He needs more experience. But this game in particular, I don't think is the game. You're going up against the top 6 side who's struggling.
Yeah,
put your best 11 out there and just give it a go. I think.
So you're saying he's not part of our best 11, is what you're saying, which I'm not disagreeing.
Not at the moment. I think that he could be. I think he needs more experience. I almost think he could.
How you get experience though?
Maybe sub him after half.
You can't get experience sitting on the bench.
It's very true, but I just don't know if he's up to scratch yet. Like he hasn't had that much experience. Throwing him into the Wolves against Arsenal, I don't know if that would do anything for his development or even his confidence.
I mean, just listen. And Chris, I agree with you. Let me just play devil's advocate for a minute and back up what Charlie's saying. We threw Ben Johnson against Manchester City last season.
That's very true.
And I know we lost that game, but he played well.
Yeah,
I think he's been injured ever since. I mean, there have been a few examples like that where we've had to take young guys and kind of blood them. On the other hand, there have been examples where they've just been total disasters. Yeah. I think it's too big and high profile a match to start him. I would not be against bringing him off the bench, especially if we're in trouble or if we need pace.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pellegrini's not going to start him anyway because that's how he is. He's not,
he never starts the kids. So.
No, he never does. He doesn't.
He don't start anybody
Talk about
quick.
this all day, but it's probably not going to happen regardless, just because of his philosophy.
We're so slow with him, and I do agree we're way too slow. All right, let's move on to the next question because I'm curious to see what everybody says about this. This is this came up on one of our shows actually. I don't know if it was Friday night. I'm not sure when it came up. Anyway, so we've got rumors swirling that we got 3 keepers who are possible backups to eventually to Fabianski and replacements, I guess, for David Martin, and certainly we don't even want to mention our other keeper who's on the roster. So
He shall not be named.
yeah, we're not going to name him. Let's just let him slink away in shame. So here are the 3 that we came up with on the polls question, and if you want to throw in a wild card, go for it. We have Begovic, Jack Butland, and Darren Randolph, our old buddy Darren Randolph, who was with the club, who backed up
Adrian.
Adrian. I was going to say, was it so long ago that it was UC, but it wasn't UC. I don't think it was Adrian. Yeah, he backed up Adrian. So if those are the 3 guys we're looking at, and I guess they maybe are, I don't know much about Begovic, to be honest. What do you guys say? Let's go the other direction this time. Chris, why don't you start us? Which one do you prefer?
So kind of looking at it, it goes 3 ways. Begovic is older, I think, than all 3 of them, or the other 2. But he's Premier League proven. He's out of favor at it's Bournemouth, I believe.
Yeah, it is Bournemouth. Yeah, you're right. That's who it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so I think he's the oldest of the 3, which for me that says that it has Sullivan written all over it, the cheapest.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah. Of course.
Jack Butland is still young. He's still relatively developing. And he was promised to be. He was touted as England's future keeper, but he didn't have a defense in front of him to help him at all. Nope. So he kind of got a bad rap for that. And then you got Darren Randolph, who knows what it's like to play for West Ham, play for the badge. So it's kind of a choose your own kind of adventure. Personally, I think for me, it'd either have to be Jack Butland or Darren Randolph.
Yeah. I probably would go with Randolph. Tim never liked him. I know Tim's gonna disagree with me. Charlie, what's your take? And then what? And then let me just give you a little preview. After we talk to keepers, we're gonna talk transfer window because we're getting requests for it in the chat room. So hang tight in the chat room, guys. We'll talk about it in just a minute. Charlie, what's your take on the keeper situation?
Well, Randolph, he skipped town because he wanted to be the big dog, right? He wanted to be the main guy. He didn't want to be second to nobody.
Believe that?
So
yeah.
So he's not gonna come here. That ain't happening unless he's like, okay, well now I suck and I realize it, and I'm gonna be the 3rd guy, right? Begovic, he's old. We don't need any more old guys, okay? Like I said, it's a young man's game. So I don't know anything about Jack Butland, but let me tell you something. If his last name's Butland, you got to get him in, right? Because how good would the songs be, right? How good would the Cockney Boys? They'd have some songs for a guy named Jack Butland. Are you kidding me? And they probably would offend the Chelsea fans. Let's just be honest. Get him in. Get him in.
Too bad Dean Windass never played for West Ham. Or Nicky
Yeah.
Windass is my favorite name of all time. Nicky Butt or Muzzy Is-It, which that's not really a dirty name. It just sounds dirty somehow.
But I still like Martin to back up Fabs. And I guess is this like bringing in a 3rd?
Yeah,
like
3rd choice.
Yeah, I think this is a 3rd choice. Yeah,
because they think they're gonna sell Roberto. What are we gonna give for him? A bar stool? Are you kidding me?
Well, nobody's going to sign him anyway. That's a waste of time.
Yeah, nobody's gonna give us any.
Let him go for a free and be done. Just get rid of him.
I was going to say they're not going to sell him. They're just going to let him go, right? Nobody's going to pay us for him.
We're gonna end up owing somebody money for him.
Probably.
We're gonna have to pay him to take him.
Yeah, probably.
You're going to
Buy out his contract.
Yeah.
the Uber driver to drive him away. Dave, which one of these guys do you like?
I don't know the other 2, but Jack Butland was he's like 3rd on England's list of keepers, right behind
I mean, he was. I don't know.
Pickford. I don't know if he's still there, but I would take him over just because he's the only one I really know anything about.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Liam, what do you think?
So, I mean, there was part of me initially that was like, hey, it might be cool to get Randolph back. I mean, he wasn't super impressive. I mean, I don't remember sitting there watching him play thinking, okay, he'll definitely take the gloves from Adrian. But I think, Charlie, you're right. He left because he was trying to gain permanent minutes to the Republic of Ireland national team. And, I think he maybe played a couple games for like the U21s. I don't think he ever really made it into like the senior team. But I think for any player, especially if you are on the cusp of breaking your national team, if you're not getting minutes at the club you're at, like I'm not going to fault you for leaving especially if your passion is to play for your national team. But I mean, with all of these guys, are any of them really going to want to sit second, possibly third tier? You know what I mean? Like you bring Jack Butland in, and it's, is he going to really want to sit behind, not just Fabianski, but also Martin and possibly that third? And then also what kind of message does that send to Martin and his confidence if you tell him, hey man, you did great against Chelsea, but we're going to bring in another keeper and now you're back to training grounds.
They already publicly said he wasn't even a real keeper. Before we started with Chelsea, they said, well, we only brought him in for training. He's not really a match keeper. He doesn't. I mean, they just basically said he's just there to take up space, and because he's the son of a West Ham legend, that's kind of what happened.
Exactly.
And then and frankly, I thought he was fine against Wolves. I wouldn't put him at fault for the goals. I wouldn't put him at fault for the loss. Certainly, he was great against Chelsea. So, I mean, they've already done everything they can to destroy his confidence.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, and I think that with Jack Butland, I think he actually, going with the poll as well, I think he probably is the best of the three options. But like I said, I like him as the option if there is going to be a decent battle for the number 1 and number 2 spot. We don't need keepers battling for second and third spots. And I don't think Butland is ever going to be on the same level as Fabianski. And I think if we're going to really look at ourselves to taking it to this next level that the boards keep telling us, if we're going to that next tier, we need to have a keeper that's going to be brought in that can challenge Fabianski for minutes. Because at the end of the day, steel sharpens steel, right? And that's what I want to see.
You can even say iron sharpens iron, maybe.
I like it.
Or that's even true, but it sounds more West Ham.
I think that is actually the same.
I think it is.
Thank you. Then you fixed it for me.
Well, Gabe is asking if Roberto is the worst West Ham signing ever. Man, he's got to be up there. I mean, Savio is the one most people discuss when they talk about the worst ever. He's about 15 years ago, I think, and he was pretty expensive. He was garbage. I don't know. There've been a lot though over the years, a lot over the last even 10 or 15 years. But Roberto's got to be way up there.
We've had people that we signed that literally got injured before the season started and then sat out the entirety of their contract.
Yeah, I mean,
at least this guy played. He didn't do us any favors, but at least he saw the fucking pitch.
He might have been better off injured. We could have started Martin earlier and maybe saved a couple of games.
I would have just started another center back and left the keeper empty.
That's what I kept saying. 11 outfield players don't even have a keeper. What's his name? Kieran Dyer is best example of a guy who was a great player for us like 3 times in his 3 appearances, and he was injured the rest of the time. While we seriously. Well, before we talk the transfer window, what has happened with Arthur Masuaku? Where is he? Is there a training ground? I mean, has anybody read anything? I haven't looked maybe I should just sort of look this up.
No, I heard he questioned why he wasn't playing, and Pellegrini doesn't like.
Why he's not playing?
No, I agree. But apparently, that's a big no for Pellegrini. Is like and as we've seen, he's very stubborn. He's very set in his ways. So if somebody's questioning him, from what I've heard in the rumor mill, that is that's kind of the cusp of why he's not seeing minutes.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of headlines. I'm happy with his current situation with West Ham.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
Yeah, and Hammer's news is coming up. This is weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. He's been talking about this. West Ham ace. I don't know if he's an ace, but holds showdown with talks with Pellegrini. That's a bummer, man. I'd hate to lose him. I think he's a valuable player for us, and he has been for a while.
And they just signed him to a 5-year deal? Isn't he until 2023, 24?
Maybe it's because he has pace, and Pellegrini says, "Oh, you move quick." Oh,
no.
Quick feet. Take a seat.
Yeah.
Slower build.
It's like against the law to be fast. I don't understand this bastard with this. All the slow guys.
we
It's
need to
killing
be
me.
deliberate in our build-up because our build-up's not slow enough as it is.
Gosh, we got to build up for the build up. You kidding me?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's we're slow. We got about 10 minutes left, something like that. So transfer window is coming up sooner than I realized. 3 weeks away, something like that. Man, when we started the season, we asked this question: where do we need help the most? I feel as though the answer now is every position. Like is there anywhere where we don't need somebody? Maybe defensive midfielder because we have Declan. Maybe we're between Noble and Declan, we have somebody to hold us down as a holding midfielder. Other than that, though,
Well,
I could think of 10 places.
well, if it's Fabianski in goal, we don't need a goal. We don't need a starting goalkeeper.
Right. Well, you're right. I mean, as long as he's healthy, you know what I mean? The problem, I mean, when he goes, of course, keepers don't go down very often. That's the thing. That's such a West Ham thing to have happen, right? Because keepers never get injured. They play for years and years, but of course, we lose ours for half the season. So yeah, I mean, actually, Dave, why don't you start us?
I'm gonna go out and I'm not gonna look at a player. I'm saying now maybe we need a new manager, and in the transfer window, and maybe who's the guy from Byron that
Kovac.
Kovac.
Maybe that's where we need to go.
He's going to be there tomorrow.
I don't want the fat Spanish waiter coming here.
No, I don't want that.
I
I
don't.
did see someone actually earlier in the comments say that apparently Kovac is actually attending the match tomorrow.
He is.
There.
Yeah.
Probably to watch Arsenal and
More than likely.
At this point, I think it's almost like we need a whole nother philosophy. I don't know what's going on. It seems like we're slow, or we have these games where nobody's up for it. And the sad thing is it's been the same with Pellegrini, all the way back to Allardyce. Since I've been watching, I started watching with Allardyce.
Right.
And we've seen this super slab have one great year and then it went to shit. Everything, it's just you see these games.
And it goes back before Allardyce too. It goes back to Riversley. It goes back to Pardew. I mean, Slav did have the great season with Payet, but look at what Slav's doing at West Brom. I mean, they're
one loss.
They're outrageously good.
Look what happens when he has a board that backs him. Surprise.
I mean, the biggest problem always, right, is that is our owners. I mean, until they sell up,
always circles back.
Yeah, it's going to be the same thing over and over again. But I mean,
he has young, quick wingers.
Yeah.
Well,
the recipe for my gumbo, boys: young, quick feet.
That's true too. I mean, you're right, Charlie, and maybe that's where we need to look. I don't know. As far as the top priorities, why don't you tell us, Charlie? What's your top priority right now for the transfer window for January?
Speed. I was telling Liam earlier. We was chatting on Twitter about, I forget, maybe the goalers. He said something. I was like, you know what? I would use the money to get quick wingers or another striker. A lot of people say they wouldn't bring in Balotelli. What's he like? 28, 29? Oh, he's a bastard. That's what we need. I'd bring him in so fast. Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Bello and Zlatan, and I don't care if we win or not. It doesn't matter.
It'd be awesome. It'd be great.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Ibrahimovic would have been a good.
Oh, it would have been amazing.
Listen, by now he would have kung fu kicked Pellegrini right in his tie. No, really, he would have. I'm telling you. Imagine him telling the Zlatan, no, Zlatan, you don't know. I know Zlatan. Be like, you don't know. I'm Zlatan. I kick your neck.
I just love them both.
Right. We need a bastard. Get him in. Let's get some Balotelli and let's get a quick winger.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Chris, what's your take? What's your priority?
I have two priorities personally, striker, and we need a center midfielder. We were linked with Kessie back in the summer. We're still linked with him now, and I'd love to see him in.
Who is he? He's from
AC Milan.
Oh, okay. So you go outside of England, and I'm like,
that's all the rumors I've been seeing as of late. That's exactly what we need.
What do y'all think about the ballhead bull from over there in Sheffield playing with Newcastle?
John Shelby.
Yeah, Shelby.
Yeah, dude, that was gonna be my pick.
I would love for him to come in, but I've been seeing on Twitter a lot of people saying I didn't realize this. One of the Sullivan boys actually said that he's useless in the summer. So
Well, he
what
said
the
he said
fuck
that about
do they know?
Snodgrass. Fuck.
Listen, the Sullivans don't know their asshole from their elbows. We don't take advice from them.
no, I know. I'm just saying, but I don't know if John Joe Shelby would come to a club where the owner's sons. are
Oh, right. That
absolutely
slagged them off. No, he probably wouldn't. He'd probably be like, you know what? You guys are assholes. Fuck off. I ain't coming there. And fair play to him. Fair play to him.
Yeah. What's how about you, Lee? I mean, I think you're the last in the order here. Who are you looking at? January?
No, I loved the idea of bringing like a Balotelli or a Ibrahimovic in. I think that Charlie's 100% right. We need a bastard. As much as I hated the way that Arnautovic left the club, I fucking loved the way that he played
I did
when
too.
he was on. Man, he fought for the ball. That's what I love about Antonio. He battles for the ball up top. And honestly, that's what we need. We can do this 4-2-3-1 lone striker up top if we have a striker that's going to battle. And we just don't have that. We don't have that person that's ready to, if they get punched in the face, they're going to punch right back.
Yeah.
Like Allaire, just he doesn't have, I don't know if it's, in the Bundesliga, if they just don't have that same level of physicality. I thought that they did, but
I
it's
thought they did
certain.
too. Yeah,
But look at
yeah.
I think he's just a finesse. That's his game.
No, but look at like Cheech comes in and like as much as he did score some goals, he was not a battler. He was not that dude that was going to be able to fight in the box. He was the guy that could snake his way in, and I just don't think that we have that. So I think Balotelli would be great. I think that Ibrahimovic would be great, but either one of those, you're basically putting Allaire to the bench. They are not a paired striker. You're basically replacing a 1-for-1, in which case we've just wasted 40 million.
Yeah.
So as much as I would prefer possibly getting a backup striker, somebody that can play maybe like a false 9 that can help with the hold up play, or somebody that can help to feed the ball up to Hilaire, because it looks like he needs the ball at his feet. Look at the goals he has scored, mostly have been little toe pokes that he like slides in the box and he gets a little foot on it. So I think that's what he needs. We need if anything, we need wingers with pace. So, I mean, Charlie Boy hit it on the head. I'd rather have young kids, wingers with pace, people that can work with the overlap. I think when Fredericks is on, I think when Kress is on, they're fucking fantastic. So if you have that overlap and you have that bite in the middle with Noble and Rice and possibly Anderson in that number 10, I think that to me works. So I'd rather spend the money on wingers than I would on a striker and a center back. Unless, like we said, unless you're going to sell Allaire and say, hey, it was an experiment that didn't work. We're going to replace him with a like for like, somebody that's got a little bit more attitude.
I don't think there's any way we get the money back from that we spent on him, though. There's no way. I mean, if anything, we've decreased his value immensely just by putting him into the side.
It's like a used car lot. As soon as you sign on the dotted line and drive it off, it immediately the value cuts in half.
That's exactly what I think has happened.
We need a lemon law in the Premier League.
Instead of 3 days, we need like 3 seasons.
Because right now we're squeezing a lemon trying to get apple juice. It ain't happening.
We do need a lemon law in the Premier League. That would have saved us a lot of money and time and pain over the years. I'm with you. I think we got to have pace and speed. I almost don't really care where it is on the pitch. Just speed. Just
Speed kills.
Speed kills, and we're so slow. And
Leicester's killing people. I always say it.
Leicester's on fire.
Well, and it's
Leicester. We could be Leicester. There's no reason why we can't be Leicester.
That's right.
but that's the thing, man.
Leicester
Like,
is who we should
They're
be.
the model. Yeah, they're the model. You know.
but you think about it too, like you've got some possession-based teams that don't really have the pace, but they do control the ball in possession. My biggest criticism of the Wolves game is we held the ball for far too long. There were so many times in that second half that everybody was getting dispossessed because they were waiting 1, 2, 3 seconds too long to play the ball off to somebody else.
Too slow in the build-up, too slow in general.
Transition was terrible. It was non-existent.
We don't attack. We don't run at anybody. We don't attack anybody. We're too deliberate.
So wait, real quick, Tommy just says, right? So we have Holland and Diagana who are excellent wingers, but do you guys recall them? I'll open that up to you guys. Do you recall them because we need the pace right now?
Absolutely. And then, listen, Trevor Sinclair, one of our legends, said, why the hell did we send him off in the first place? So I'd like to be on his side, because what does he know about footy, right? Who's going to step up and say, hey, Trevor, you don't know nothing. Who? Some fat asshole eating chips down at the chip shop, or in the pub? Come on, listen. We have no pace. Call him up. If Trevor Sinclair, he's a master. There's footballers that are saying give these guys chances. They're young, quick. I think Grady's probably more ready right now than Holland because he's had a little bit more time, right?
That sombrero that you saw the video making its way on Twitter, the chest trap, 2 taps on the head, and then sombrero's the guy on the wing, and he's in open space.
Yeah.
He ruined that
we could
league,
give
man.
Holland, listen, we could give Holland 20, 30 minutes and build him up.
Yeah.
Maybe not versus Arsenal, but it has to happen because we
Well,
need
you
pace.
you put him in something like Southampton.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect time, Dave.
I don't know, man. Maybe you put him in that high pressure. Look how it worked for Martin in goal against Chelsea. Maybe you put these guys in on a high pressure. You go, hey, now's your time to shine. Either you stand and deliver, or you sit and you ride the pine pony.
Well, other players aren't delivered for the most part. So, actually, I mean, to me, I hate to see us destroy his confidence in one match, starting him in the wrong place at the wrong time. On the other hand, it's not as though anybody else is so good that we're saying to ourselves, "Oh, we have to have I don't know, Snodgrass on the wing." I mean, no, we have nobody who's overperforming right now. So, in a way, what are you going to lose, right? Just another match?
That's where I'm at with it. Like, what are we going to lose?
Right.
Yeah, and Diangana, I have been against
Baptism by fire. Tim is right.
baptism by fire
Hey,
with the Boston accent. I've been against recalling Diangana, but I'll tell you what, man. After I saw that clip,
oh my God, are you kidding me? That was nasty.
I thought, you know what? Let's get him back because it doesn't matter if you can do that. You can do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not the championship or the Premier League or where you're doing it. If you have that skill, you have that skill. And if he's got that skill, we could use it.
He's out there ending careers.
That was filth. Are you kidding me? That's the most sick thing other than Suarez. You see this bastard's goal you got with the little oh my God.
The back heel chip. Not even just a back heel, but a back heel chip. But a dick move.
I love the channel. The back heel is even better.
So look at that. Look at Suarez, right? Somebody that's a dick, somebody that has the skills and has honestly, it's finishing. We need somebody that can finish in the box.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming here, but
at this point,
I wouldn't be against it, though. I wouldn't be against it. All right, so let's spend the last couple minutes and do the ridiculous thing we do every week where we talk about predictions for the match tomorrow. Obviously, we don't know who's going to start. We don't know who's healthy, who's not. We don't know anything, but whatever. I personally think I'll start, and then we can just go around the circle. I personally think this is a West Ham special. If Arsenal were coming in on a long winning streak, I'd feel pretty good about this match. With them coming in not having won in like 10 games or whatever it is, I think they beat us like 3-0. They're absolutely going to throttle us, and I think they're going to look like friggin' Brazil doing it personally. Now, the positive side of that is maybe it hastens Pellegrini's departure. The negative side is we will probably end up in the relegation zone after next week. So, because we'll be down, we're already 16th. We're like 1 point away. I think Southampton are within a point of us. So, we play Southampton next week. So that's going to be like a relegation 6-pointer, which is incredible to think about at this point. But I have very little faith that we're going to win this game. I hate to say that. Obviously, I want us to win. Always want us to win. Even if it means Pellegrini saves his job, I still want us to win, but I have no faith. Liam, what do you think?
So I gotta always go 1-0 to the Cockney boys. Always. So I say that we nick one goal out of them. I'm hoping we get something like what Rice did last year, right?
Yeah.
Just, top box, just murdered them with it. And remember, I mean, we do. Most teams have a game in hand on us, so this one, sitting in 16th, this puts us even on games with everybody else, and that could potentially catapult us up. I mean, I'm looking at the standings, right now. If we're sitting on 16 points. A win puts us up with Brighton at 19 and 12th. Arsenal 19.
3 points here is absolutely massive. Colossal.
Yeah, the table is so stacked in the middle right now that you could easily climb up to 5th, 6th place with 1-2 wins. And I think that with Arsenal being on the downturn that they are, they haven't named a new manager, so they're not getting the bounce. We just saw them get trounced. So I mean, I think that if we're going to kill them, now's the time to do it and give us that motivation going up against Southampton. But I'll be honest, if we don't get the starting 11 right, if we don't have Antonio up top or at least in that starting 11, I think we're going to struggle. It's going to be a battle one way or another, but I'm going to go 1-0 to the Cockney boys.
All right, Dave.
You know, I agree with you, Lee. Unfortunately, it is the West Ham special, but I'm going to go out on a limb this time, and I'm going to flip it and say 2-0 good guys.
Good.
And Antonio's going to score both.
I hope he plays. Honestly, I think the one huge factor we have here is why it's so hard to make these predictions before we get the team sheet and everything else. I think if Antonio plays, we have a chance of winning this match. I really do. He's been our talisman.
Yep.
If he's not there for whatever reason, I don't like our chances at all. And so I'm kind of assuming he's not going to be there. Let me preface things by saying that. I'm kind of assuming he's not going to be there. Or clarify anyway. What do you think, Chris?
Personally, for me, gosh, I keep going back and forth on it. Personally, I think it's going to be a 2-win victory for us.
2-1.
Yeah. And I want to say it's going to be we're going to clinch it late.
Oh, don't make me wait. Don't make me wait for the 90th minute or the injury time.
I don't know why, but just my gut feeling is it's going to be a 2-1 and it's going to be left late like that.
Oh, well, it's going to be bad for my blood pressure. Charlie, we'll finish with you, buddy. What do you think?
Well, you know what? When I say draw, we sneak a win, right? So I might as well just say draw. But no, honestly, listen, their little caretaker, skipper, whatever you want to call them, he said they was out there scared. He said they look like scared boys, right?
Yeah.
Put Antonio out there and let's see if we can intimidate him. Because honestly, I can't give you any kind of chatter. You know, I don't even know who he's going to run out there, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's so hard to know.
We're both so bad. I'm going to go for the draw. I'm going to say 1-1, and it just two sloppy teams right now.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a nasty game. Sorry, go ahead. Somebody was just saying something. I thought one of you guys was jumping in. I think it's going to be a nasty game. I think it might even be a little bit physical. It's a London derby. They don't like each other. Noble hopefully be up for it the way he always is in these big games. And that could be a big deal, a big key for us. I don't know. I just it feels ominous to me, the way they're coming in needing a victory so desperately. Yeah, again, if they were playing well, I'd like our chances, but I don't like our chances when they're not playing well.
If that's the team's sickness, the medicine is a game versus West Ham. It's been that way all year. We're like cough syrup. Yo, you got a cough? Here you go. Here, take some of this West Ham.
It's been the long as I can remember. Everton this season, last season, it's been that way for as long as I can remember. When you're out of form, when you've sacked your manager, you haven't won in double-digit matches. Hey, that's why we're here.
Yeah, I actually looked it up earlier. The last time Arsenal won a match in all competitions was the last week of October.
Wow. That is okay. So I think it's been like 10 games, something like that.
It's close to it.
If I'm not mistaken, that's I think that's what I read.
We'd be right there with them if we didn't knock off Chelsea.
Yep.
We'd be right there with them, Charlie, as you said. If Chelsea had started Willian and Conte, I think we'd be right there with them. So
absolutely, I think we
I
would too.
didn't get that decision at all.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. I don't know.
They thought we were an easy take.
Yeah,
that's why they were like, all right, we'll sit and they think we're an easy take, and then
that's the truth.
Because look at it, they really didn't try to make subs till after we had gone one up.
Right.
You know?
And plus they could either like rest their players for Champions League and all the fixture congestion coming up in the December timeframe, and it backfired on them. It backfired on them, which is good. You know, it's good. All right. Well, it is almost 10 o'clock. I was almost 10 past 10 o'clock, which means it's I don't know if Neil in Australia is still watching, but it's like 2 in the afternoon or something there. I don't know what it is. Anybody watching in England, it's obviously way past your bedtime. Everybody in the chat room, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate a huge crowd tonight, actually. Very active, which is great to see. Love everybody here, all the mainstays like Gabe and Wally. Mark was here. Tom, I don't know, a lot of other people I probably should have mentioned and forgot. Charlie, Chris, Dave, our special guest Dave, Liam, and me. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Let's listen. When we come back next week, let's talk about what a great victory we had over Arsenal and how Manuel Pellegrini is our Alex Ferguson. Sebastian Haller is our, I don't know, Thomas.
Talisman.
Right.
The
He's our
talisman.
Thomas Lewandowski. He's going to score 6 goals in 2 minutes or something. Let's make it happen. All right. You guys, thanks for being with us. Thanks everybody for being with us. Tomorrow's obviously match day, and then I think we're going to have a show tomorrow night, which should include some match reaction. Check out if you haven't subscribed, please do. And then if you hit the bell to let you know when there's a show on, then you'll know when it comes on. Or if I stay on here long enough, Tim will tell me. Oh, 9 p.m. he says. Okay, yeah, there it is. 9 p.m. tomorrow. So you guys tune in, check it out. Obviously, we'll be talking about what happened in the game. Other than that,
positive show.
yes, we hope so. Oh man, we need some it's supposed to be. Other than that, have a great Sunday evening and come on, you Irons.
Come on,
Come on, you Lions.